Hi guys, it's Aoife from Words of Clover and I'm here today to do a book tag. So I was recently tagged in a book tag called I Stand With #IStandWithTransKids book tag. I was tagged by Margaret over Margaret Pernard, and I will leave her video as well as the original tag creator down below. Obviously I think the whole meaning and the drive behind this book tag is kind of, you know, inherent in the title of the book tag, but I just think at the moment in particular, because it is Pride Month, it is Pride weekend actually coming up in Dublin at the moment as well, and then I feel like there's just been a lot of different things in news cycles in different countries around the world that have been harmful against the trans community. So I think any book tag like this that actually helps people and helps people just talk about support and friendship and love when it comes to things like this, and it comes to helping a community and just showing a community that you stand by them and you believe in them and you believe in their, you know, their choice to be exactly who they are. I think it's really, really important. To be glad to be able to take part in it and hopefully encourage other people to do it as well. But the first question is actually to tag some fabulous friends who also may want to do this tag and #StandWithTranskids. So I'm actually going to tag Victoria over What Victoria Read, as well as and Charlotte over Desperately Seeking Charlotte, as I think the two of them are just really, really good in terms of sharing their support for different communities and movements, and I think they will both really, really enjoy this tag, so I'm going to tag them. So question number 2 is tell us about some books on your TBR pile featuring a trans/non-binary character or non-fiction about trans and non-binary stuff. So I have 3 books that I have on my TBR. 2 of these, I think one I might have on NetGalley, or I've requested on NetGalley, or is an upcoming release. Another one I've been hearing loads about that I'm really excited to read when I get my hands on it, and the other one is actually a book is already out, and it's a book I have on my library account, so I'm actually going to be reading it quite soon. So the first book that I think I might have on NetGalley, and if I don't, I've requested it, is Juno Dawson's Her Majesty's Royal Coven. Now, I don't actually know exactly what this is about, but here's this thing. Juno Dawson is one of my favourite authors, and I basically read everything that she's written, or pretty much I've read almost all of her most recent releases, so the last 3 or 4 books that she has released. I read all of them and really, really enjoyed them. So as soon as I saw that she was having another book out, I immediately requested it, and I'm really looking forward to reading it, as I think Juno Dawson has just a fantastic writing style, and I think in particular, I don't know if this one also follows YA characters, but she, above most other authors that I have read, is able to capture that YA voice absolutely perfectly without it being cringy or unbelievable or dated in any way. I think she just is able to capture that YA experience so well in her books. So I'm really looking forward to reading her new book, which feels like it might have a little bit of a witchy, fantastical vibe, which I'm very excited about. Another book I'm really looking forward to reading is one I've heard a few people talk about. One is Kazan over Always Doing, and then Audrey over Perpetual Pages has also raved about this book, and that is A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. And this is a Regency romance, a queer Regency romance that is centered around a trans main character falling in love with this duke, and I think just the whole aspect of that is just absolutely fantastic, and I'm really excited to eventually picking this up and seeing how the author approaches this subject. I've heard it's approached in a really, really nice way, and yeah, I think any kind of representation in that within a genre that is typically quite cis and straight, I think seeing queer representation in that type of genre is absolutely fantastic, so I'm really excited to read that. And then another book I have was shortlisted for the Dublin Literary Prize, the Dublin Literary Award this year, and that is actually the Life and Death of Vivek Oji by Akwaeke Emeze. And yeah, this is one that I'm just excited to read. I've heard loads of good things about, and this is one I have waiting for me on my library app, so I will be reading it quite soon. Question 3 is to recommend a favourite book, show, movie featuring a trans or non-binary character. One of my favourites is definitely Heartstopper, which obviously has a character called Elle in it, and Elle is a trans girl, and she is also played by a trans girl, which is absolutely fantastic. I loved Elle in Heartstopper. I love her story. I love the fact that there's going to be a lot more kind of growth and romantic interest for Elle in the 2nd season, and yeah, I just think she's absolutely beautiful as well, and her fashion choices and her makeup and her hair and everything about her in the show I just absolutely loved. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed Heartstopper, which in general is just a fantastic show and 100% made me cry, and I just absolutely love it. Number 4 is Everyone Has Their Own Journey and no one demographic is a monolith. Recommend a book with a journey, however you define that. So I actually have gone with She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan, and this book is kind of a Chinese historical fantasy book slash a little bit of a Mulan retelling. In this we are following a character called Zhu, who is kind of a trans slash non-binary character. She does go by like she, her pronouns throughout the book, but she is portraying herself and like, you know, on the outside everyone believes that she is a man, and though she was born like signed female at birth, but then her brother died and she took on his name and has gone on where people believe that she is her brother. So her, like, as I said, it's kind of confusing because her pronouns are she, her, but it's definitely feels more trans non-binary when you're seeing how she thinks about herself. So yeah, this was definitely good, and we really see a lot of like amazing character change and character growth, and this like almost like very morally grey aspect going on with Zu's character in this as well, which I really enjoyed, and I'm really excited for like the next book in this the series trilogy. I don't know, but it's definitely going to be really good, because yeah, what happened in this, particularly near the end, made me very excited. But yeah, a really amazing character journey in this for like a few different characters, not just for Zhu. 5 is None of us knows everything, even about our own identities, especially since we're not a monolith and each have our own journey. What is a book that taught you something either about yourself or the world around you? So for me, I was trying to think about a book, like kind of a queer non-fiction book that I've read, and I've actually realised I actually haven't read that many queer focused non-fiction, so that's definitely something I need to change. So if anyone has anything in particular they'd recommend, particularly if it's Irish focused, I'd really love that. A lot of the non-fiction and books that I feel like teach me different things, I feel like it's normally like feminist non-fiction, Irish feminist focused non-fiction as well. I've decided to choose for this question is number 1, Don't Touch My Hair by Emma Dabiri, which was absolutely amazing, written by an Irish Nigerian author around just her experience as a black woman living in Ireland, growing up in Ireland, then moving to the UK, and just her experience like as a black woman, the black experience that she has lived, and then also going into history around racism and just different things that I never even knew around like black history, black culture, all the way back to like Africa and the way like women used to do their hair, and how hair is such an integral part of black culture. And I absolutely loved this book. It's absolutely amazing. And then another book I decided to choose for this is Hood Feminism. Now this is again about a black woman's experience with feminism, and how the feminism movement is very white focused and is kind of very much controlled by white women, and how there's a whole other type of feminism that is largely ignored, and that is the one where it is focused on a black woman or a person of colour, and particularly black women who are living in certain parts of America where like kind of gun violence, gang violence, drugs, all that kind of stuff is very prevalent. And while this book definitely doesn't really touch on the type of experience a lot of people would have in Ireland, particularly like it within the black community in Ireland, I would believe, it definitely made me think about certain things around how what I was being taught within this book, how it can be looked at in a more Irish perspective when it comes to women of colour, black women in Ireland, women in things like direct provision in Ireland, which is pretty horrific, can be some crossover. So question number 6 is, when things are hard in the world or in our lives, sometimes there are things we can do to help centre and refocus ourselves, to bring joy, to keep us going, to keep living, resisting, being our authentically amazing selves. What are things you do to centre yourself and find joy? So obviously I have a BookTube channel, so one of the things I do to find joy is definitely reading, reading some of my favourite books. I also really enjoy, spending time with my dogs. I love that, going on dog walks, seeing them enjoy themselves, play. It's very hard to go out on a dog walk and see your dog having such a good time and not just smile along with them and have a great time yourself. And also I really enjoy like just simple things like playing The Sims, or recently I've gotten back into Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which I really enjoy, which is just a really fun game, and the graphics and the music and everything in it is just so lovely, so I would definitely recommend it. I love The Sims, I love Sims YouTube and watching Sims YouTube as well, which I really love. And then also just things like a good meal, comfort food, making myself a big bowl of spaghetti bolognese when I feel like it. Things like that definitely just comfort me and find joy. Question number 7 is what's your walk on music or your feel at home in your body music? To be honest, as I said before on this channel, I actually don't listen to that much music, but some of the music I really do enjoy tends to go back to when I was a teenager, and some of the bands I really enjoyed then, like Tokyo Hotel and Paramore, and the Pretty Reckless and those type of bands I really enjoy. And more recently I've really enjoyed Hayley Williams and the stuff she's brought out on her own, and yeah, there are some of her music and sounds are really relaxing to actually read to as well, which I really enjoy. Question number 8 is finding mentors, people of wisdom or heroes can be another way to help us navigate life. Who are some of your mentors? Can you share something they taught you or inspired you to learn more about yourself? So one of my kind of hero mentors, I don't know how I would really define it, but someone who I definitely have looked up to since I read her memoir was Mary Robinson, Everybody Matters, and I've also read Climate Justice by Mary Robinson, and I've listened to the podcast that she did with Maeve Higgins that was also around the climate, and particularly women all around the world doing amazing things to help battle climate change. I just think she's a fascinating woman. She was the first female president of Ireland. She became president of Ireland at still a relatively young age with a young family, and I think all of that is just so commendable. And you know, even today it's really hard to be a woman in power, particularly if you have a young family, and not, you know, you're always viewed in a certain way and you're expected to do certain things and you're expected to sacrifice different things. And while she did, like, obviously sacrifice a lot when it came to her family, she still was able to keep a really strong family unit that whole time, and I just really respect it. And her relationship with her partner, with her husband in this, is lovely as well to see, and the way he supports her and, you know, doesn't, you know, sees that she is someone who's heading for power and for light and for this really amazing like life on like a pedestal almost, and he helps her and supports her all that way, which is something I think we don't see that much when it comes to male partners of successful women. And I just think that, like, yeah, the more we see like women being supported by partners is absolutely fantastic. I mean, women can do it on their own as well, but when there is a supporting partner there as well, it's just really lovely to see. I think the way she has fought for women in her career later on, again, like her fight and talking about climate change, and then when she became the High Commissioner for the United Nations as well, and just the different things that she got involved with there, I think she is just a really amazing woman, and yeah, I definitely just really admire her. Number 9 is who are some out trans, non-binary booktubers, Instagrammers, authors, actors, etc. who you'd like to shout out? Obviously I've shouted out Juno Dawson, who is one of my favourite authors, and she is a trans woman. And then some of the booktubers that I follow who I really enjoy, who are trans / non-binary, and you know, are openly trans and non-binary. So I really love Audrey from Perpetual Pages. Their YouTube channel and their book reviews are just absolutely fantastic. The way they talk about books, I'm in awe all the time of how they're able to talk about their feelings and critique books and like review books. Yeah, absolutely amazing. Alex from Books and Paperbacks is actually someone who I've been following for a really long time, and he does some really great like challenge videos, and also has done in the past some like hockey themed readathons as well. Though I haven't taken part in that, where I really like the idea of hockey, but because obviously in Ireland we don't actually like play ice hockey, or like never, like my only like introduction to ice hockey and the only thing I know about ice hockey is from the Mighty Ducks, but I do actually really enjoy finding out about books centered around ice hockey, and I generally find that from Alex from Books and Paperback. As I said, does really great challenge videos. He was the one that actually started the kind of books choose what I eat for 24 hours challenge that went viral at one point a couple of years ago. So yeah, definitely check out Alex. And then Sage from, I think it's Sage a G, their channel as well is absolutely fantastic. I just really love everything that Sage reads. I really love kind of their like homestead lifestyle as well, they showcase in their videos, and again, non-binary parenting, which they've also talked about, non-binary pregnancy and non-binary parenting as well. I just really enjoy learning about that experience and learning more about it, and yeah, I always appreciate everything I learn from Sage's videos. Question number 10 is what are some organisations you'd like to shout out for supporting trans kids / trans folks? So I would like to shout out TENI, which is the Transgender Equality Network Ireland, and they are someone who always doing some amazing work for trans people in Ireland and the trans community in Ireland, and they're definitely people to donate to if you are Irish or in you would like to donate to an Irish organisation when it comes to helping trans people and the queer community. I would definitely recommend that. So that's it for this tag. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please let me know what you guys think if you've read any of these books that I was talking about, and if you have any recommendations for me, particularly like things like queer non-fiction. I would really love any Irish queer non-fiction too. I would definitely really love any recommendations, because that's definitely something I'm lacking on, which I really realised when I was coming up with ideas for this video, to what book to talk about. So yeah, I'm always open for seeing where those gaps are in my reading life and trying to fill them. So thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye.